And welcome back for another episode of the Black Watch Report. I'm your host, Thorn Rain. With me, as always, my co-host, Mr. Kyle Wynn. How are you doing in this post-apocalyptic world of Path to Pro news?
Dude, it is wild, man.
It is
I
nuts.
It's a weird time, but I feel like these times more than any are the times that we need distractions because I can't open Reddit without just news. Like,
Yep.
bro, can I get just a couple, even the memes, dude? Even when I'm like, let's take refuge in some spicy memes, or when your best friend catches coronavirus, oh, the coronavirus be like, I'm like, bro, can I just get some sort of escape? And so, what is that escape? Freaking esports, dude. We are
Yes.
the only competitive thing left on this planet at this point.
And it's
I'm
glorious.
hoping I'm hoping we get some Overwatch League matches on ESPN, so some people who are like, "Bro, football's done, basketball's done, baseball's done. What do I do? I have nothing. I'm nothing without sports. Hey, check out this Overwatch thing, man." Like I think people are everyone's stuck in their house.
Yep.
Like I don't want people to go stir crazy or I get cabin fever and start losing it. So
Like
let's
it's
just chat contenders, man. We have so many Overwatch League matches
yes.
coming up. For those of you who haven't seen the schedule, check it out. It's in our announcements on the Discord.
I'm going to miss
Holy
so many
crap.
of them
Oh yeah.
because good God, 2 a.m. Eastern? Yeah.
Yeah, well they gotta play those matches in
In
China, which is
China, yeah.
we actually get to see these teams we haven't seen. It's beautiful. I hope they have a good schedule for how to alternate production staff and
Hmm.
casting staff and observing staff and have an A shift B shift thing. Because do those none if they had to work all of those shifts, they would die.
And then
Um,
especially when they said, what is it, April, they're adding a third day. They're going to be doing it on
yeah,
Friday. So
Friday,
trying
Saturday,
to
Sunday.
run a schedule like that 3 days, man, I feel
Yeah.
for them. But we're not here to talk about Overwatch League. That's on High Noon Podcast next Monday when they return because of the shutdown. So let's get into this. We're going to start us off. No new Twitch follows. We did just right now get a subscription. Thank you, Jew Druid, for the sub live on the show. We do appreciate that, sir. Shrug also with the 18-month resub. That man keeps us going. Amazing. Thank you, Shrug. We love you. But if you want to become a Patreon, help the show out in another way, and sponsor our news, head over to patreon.com/blackwatchreport. Become a Patreon at the $2 level, and you can sponsor our news just like Mr. Thugly did this week. Thank you so much. Kyle, take us away on this very small amount of scene news we got here.
So this is actually an interesting thing. It kind of came up
Yes.
via just a Twitter conversation that you and Dan had.
Yep.
Um,
I figured go to the
so
source. Like,
Yeah, so Leg Day posted, "Hey, we'd love to see these replays from the tournament realm. Um, can anyone share them?" And so Dan McHugh said, it's currently unavailable because it's on a different realm. It's on the past patch realm, and so they haven't yet received on the tournament realm the update that lets you share those, but it's something that's on the radar for availability for contenders. That's what DJ Schmaltz, aka Dan McHugh, said. Um, it's on the radar,
yeah,
but
because
no timeline on it right now.
it wasn't just us that were constantly tweeting out about wanting replay codes and being able to like watch
It's
in
nice
the
to know that
replay
we're
viewer.
not the only ones screaming into the void.
Yeah, Leg Day started tweeting about it, and he tweeted at a bunch of people, and I was like, um, if there's anybody that's going to be able to answer this and answer it quick, it's going to be, our boy DJ Smoltz, and he came through. I will take an answer that isn't necessarily the answer I want over no answer
Yeah.
at all. So we do really appreciate that.
I will take a we're looking into it more than a yeah, no, sorry, not
Yeah,
happening.
just a no response. Like, I
Yeah.
can't stand that. But we got a little bit of roster news here. So Kyle, take us away on this first one from Atlanta.
Oh, this is the
Started
thing. I didn't
spicy.
find this. I know, already getting the spice, dude. This is something I did not find really surprising because there have been some rumors previously. Actually, not rumors. I mean, very clear statements of a certain player being not very nice to people. Um, not very open-minded to people of a different gender playing in their games.
Hmm.
And now there are allegations of harassing other former players, and then also sexual misconduct stuff. So Atlanta Academy officially has parted ways with Haku. We're not going to get into specifics here, but like
You can find it on
it's just a
Twitter.
lot of unhappy vibes going on here. Like Atlanta has every right to be like, bro, I do not want to be with these people. Like I don't want to involve this person in my company or anything like that. So let's just let that go.
Yep.
And that's
It,
what they did.
it snowballed pretty quick. It was like one thing, and then it was like just a waterfall. So
Yeah.
Atlanta responded pretty quickly, and good on them. But our next bit here is Samito is going to be stepping away from competitive play. He's leaving the Contenders roster for Triumph, but staying with Triumph as a streamer for the organization. And I believe he's doing 2-a-days. He's doing like YouTube in the morning and then Twitch at night. So
Oh,
like
interesting.
it's kind of crazy the way that he's doing it. So if you like some Samito play and Twitter rants about metas and heroes and stuff, definitely go check out him on one of his streaming platforms over there.
So this next one's a bit interesting because you told me something that I didn't know was a thing, but now we know is a
Mm-hmm.
thing. So Exodia, formerly of the Maryville Saints, has joined Karasuno for going into trials this time, which is weird because Maryville Saints is now still in contenders, I believe,
Contenders.
because they
Yep.
made top four. Um and then Karasuno is still in trials. And so I'm just kind of like, huh, that's an interesting move. But then also, and I'll let you kind of
Yep.
state what the details were on this because you know better than I do.
Kind of the way it came up is Maryville Saints announced that Exodia was leaving the team, which I found a little odd because he plays for a collegiate team. Like I was thinking, okay, did he lose his scholarship? Like what's going on? Is he done at school? Um so I had asked the question, like, or well, someone had asked the question, and the coach of the Saints had put out there that the Maryville Saints roster is not actually a collegiate team. And that's basically where he left it. He said that this is just a like side project team that they put together and that they're like sponsoring basically. So I asked, are there any players on the team that are in or going to Maryville? And he said yes. It was Crackalakin and oh no, who was the other one?
Uh,
I gotta
I
find the
feel like it
tweet.
was Aether, maybe.
Yes, Crackalakin and
Yeah.
Aether are the two that they are actually in school at Maryville, but the rest of the roster is just your typical open division contenders roster that competes online. So
Also,
it
he
was
wasn't even the
interesting.
actual main tank. He's a main support, just filling in as a main. That's weird. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So just a quick drop, and then literally like the next day, it was announced that he was moving over to Karasuno. So good to see that he's still going to be playing in contenders. Can't wait to watch. Well, no, don't even get to watch Karasuno this week. So maybe next week in contenders. So
Aren't they in trials this week?
yeah,
Or no?
but we don't get to watch trials.
Oh, you're right.
Rip. I do keep hearing rumors that there's potentially a like behind the scenes media deal going on to get us some contenders coverage or some trials coverage. But our last bit here is another retirement. Visility announced that he was going to be stepping away from competitive Overwatch, and just kind of for a lack of interest. And in the meantime, he's going to be pursuing a career as a police officer. So, man, best of luck to Visility. Like that's pretty nuts to go from playing Overwatch to, you know, saving people's lives and arresting the bad guys. So, good luck, sir. Moving us down into the quick play, we are going to be covering trials and, well, the contenders review of this past week. We'll go over what our predictions were because, as the title of the show, thanks, Maryville. You wrecked everything. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So let's
Should we
start
go
us
over
off
these?
here. Yeah.
So I had predicted Revival. Actually, no, we should probably go match by match and then say our preds. That probably makes more sense. So it was
Yep.
Revival versus Triumph. Revival takes it 3-2.
We both
We
had
both
Revival.
predicted that.
Yep.
Good there.
Easy.
Maryville Saints, Montreal Rebellion. You had Maryville, I had
I took
Montreal.
Maryville. Yep.
You got Montreal, or you got Maryville right. I didn't. Maryville takes the 3-0 against Montreal Rebellion. Square One, Third Impact. I think we both had Third Impact. They
Yep.
lost
They
to Square
lost.
One.
Did not see
Bro,
that
I don't
coming.
know anything apparently. These matches were like absolutely
This is what
exact
happens
opposite of what I expected.
when we just go off of score lines from trials the
Yeah,
previous week.
literally.
Like, can't gauge any type of play. It's horrible. Give me trials, please.
Um, so yeah, Square One took us the 3-2. We both had Third Impact there, and then Karasuno Noble. We both had Karasuno there. They took the 3-0 against Noble. We got one right.
Yep.
You want to take the next round?
So then we've got Team Envy going up against Revival. We both took Envy. Envy take it 3-1. Atlanta Academy up against Maryville Saints. We both had Atlanta Academy. Even with their rough time in the seeding tournament, we figured, Maryville, they should be able to take this. No, Maryville 3-0. Not just a beat, just a stomp. Maryville just on a tear right now, taking on 2 trials teams here. And then we've got the Sky
Academy.
Foxes. Academy teams. Sky Foxes going up against Square One. We didn't pick either one of these because we thought Third Impact was going to be here. We both had Third Impact. Square One take this. Square One looking like a much better team than both of us had predicted going into this. So, and then it was Second One versus Karasuno. We both had Second Wind here. Second Wind take it 3-1. Setting up these interesting semifinals.
We should go. We're still okay. There's a little bit of hiccups because we're still trying to figure out our format here. So let's go and kind of chat. We have individual team notes here, and luckily
Yep.
we don't really have. We only have one team that we talked about twice, and it's good because we can kind of talk about the turnaround that we happened between semifinals, finals. But regarding Revival, a couple players that stuck out. Aspire on the Tracer had a lot of really,
Yep.
really, really good plays. A lot of like clutch pulse bombs. Razor on the Hanzo. A lot of like I think the DPS kind of each did this like, okay, I get to carry now, you get to carry, I get to carry, you get to carry, and so they kind of traded off on, they were very much a triple threat kind of or double threat kind of thing. Fact, oh my gosh, dude, like seeing him in versus I forget who was in there before. I think Boger or someone else. Um, Definitely a level up. Like he's just an Overwatch League caliber main tank that like is now playing on a contender team. Like you can feel the just little notch that he pulls this team up. And then Cowman as well, really, really smart with the bombs. I just noticed that in particular.
And then
oh god.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you want to do Triumph right now? Since they went up
Yeah,
against
because they got
Revival?
knocked out pretty early.
Yeah.
I mean, this was Samito's last game, so he did clutch some fights on Hanzo. So it's like it's
Yep.
unfortunate that it ended the way it did with his performance being pretty solid.
I remember he had a pretty nasty Dragon Blade or was it Dragon Strike on Oasis was City Center? Basically won him the fight, if I'm not mistaken. And to take that point. Love watching some Samito on some Hanzo. Like, it's gonna be a shame not being able to watch him in Contenders though.
Yeah, and then one of the weird things we saw is Chow played a lot of Roadhog. Like at I think 2 different occasions he brought out the Roadhog, and I was kind of like, we were confused. The casters were confused. He seemed a bit confused. He kind of fed, then he switched back to Diva, and then things kind of turned around a little bit. But that was like a little bitty throw. And then Awkward seems to be a player to look out for. His Zen play is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. Now it's a little weird because we didn't get all of the matches. So do we want to move on to the Square One Sky Foxes matchup here?
Yeah, I really didn't have a ton of notes here. This was kind of a quick
It
map
was
or a quick match.
it was the one that I wasn't able to watch because of timing here.
Right. So Square One, certain player on there, Shockwave, it's nice that he is so good on Doomfist because I love it when the names match up. You know, like when Reinforce played the Reinhardt, it's like, oh, how nice. They like play together. You know, like I love when people have those kind of things. Um, and his Doomfist was really good. Like Doomfist is definitely not a meta pick, I guess, in this particular hero pool. But I guess it's not meta, but it's just not like your Soldier Tracer that everyone has run. Like he's
Hmm.
able to kind of just play the Doomfist, and like at this level, if you have an insane Doomfist, you can just do that. Like it's not like the teams are so amazingly coordinated that they can, have a amazing counter against that. So um, they played super duper good with the Doomfist as well as Dimes. Randomly, like really good with the Mei, really good Genji, really good Soldier. I mean, solid Genji, solid Soldier. So I think particularly on the Mei though, he looked pretty strong. Um, Weird thing as well on the side of Skyfox is we saw Wub play the Brig on the support role. I mean, we knew that he can play this because he played that on Goats. Um, but it was a bit weird that we saw him, and then I think eventually we got Crusade in after a couple of maps. Um, Beppis as well had a really rough time on the Doomfist. Got a little on the 76, but then moved on to the Doomfist, got a little bit more, and then Valen was pretty good as well. But then I don't know, man. Like that, I think they're just particularly like these good switches didn't come late enough or didn't come early enough, and they just kind of looked outclassed. But it's hard to tell though because the Square One roster is mostly new players. Like, I don't remember hearing about Dimes or Shockwave or any of these people before. Like they're
Yeah,
all relatively new performers here.
didn't really recognize anybody over on Square One. And I think that's why we had them kind of placed where we did, because it was an
Yeah,
unknown. We didn't get to watch them play anything, so we didn't know how they looked playing together.
I
Didn't
mean we
really
knew
have
their
any
support
tape
line,
on the
but that was
players.
it.
Yep, that was about it. So now we're going into the semifinals. So give us the score lines, and then we'll get into. I guess we'll do the score lines for the semis and the finals, and then we'll
Hmm.
go over the way everything played out here.
So Team Envy versus Maryville started out Maryville up 2 and looked like they were going to take the third map here. Um, then oh, I think I mixed up my notes here. Oh, no, I mixed up my notes. I'm just going to do this real quick. So what happened was literally it got up 0-2 for Envy.
Hmm.
Maryville just looked incredible.
Yep.
And then on Paris, it was down to a minute left or they were going to get full held on the attack. And then you get this beautiful thing where Oni kills the enemy Brig, then gets a 5-man EMP, then Kevster gets a 2K bomb, and everything just kind of fixes itself. So then Envy turn it around, get the next 3 maps won, knock out Maryville Saints. Epic match.
Phenomenal match. Like it's a contenders classic. That's what I'm calling it.
Absolutely. Because, I
100%.
mean, you had this Royal Road potential. Maryville Saints, a team that has never made it into anything before, played Open Division, played Trials, played Contenders. Almost. They needed 1 more map and then 3 more maps after that against Second Wind, and they would have won. And had, like, the true Royal Road that you could get. But then on the second side of the bracket, you had Square One get pretty handily dismantled by Second Wind
Yep.
here. And then you had a Team Envy versus Second Wind. And in true Team Envy theme here, they of course have to take it to map 5 and of course get reverse swept in return after reverse sweeping Maryville Saints. So
Absolute
let's
insanity.
dive into these two, I
Yes.
guess. So on the Maryville Saints side, on these first 2 maps, I don't know. It's hard to tell, and this would be a thing I'd really love to first off have some time
Yes.
to sit down, like analyze this map because from what it seemed like Envy just was lost and Maryville were found. Um, and they were
From
very clean, very rehearsed.
from what I
Very,
saw, and I would need the replay, which I'm not gonna get. so I gotta watch the crappy VODs. Um, your boy Aether,
Oh, dude,
abs
so good.
absolutely insane. His biggest, I think what won them the first two matches or first two maps, um, was the fact that Aether was able to consistently isolate Solaria whenever he dove in with the Maywalls, the Blizzards, and just the cryo gun consistently. Anytime that Solaria extended into the front line of Maryville Saints, he was getting frozen and getting picked out early, which then Maryville just constantly was collapsing. As soon as Solaria went down, Maryville collapsed on the back line, took out the supports, and then moved their way through the rest of the team. Um, Map 1 and 2, Maryville played perfect. Like it was crazy. They played the comp that they were running absolutely insane. It was just I think Chu at halftime kind of got into the boys and was like, "Hey, you need to figure this out," because we saw Solaria not getting isolated as much in the second half. I don't know if it was more him
Yeah,
or if it was
that
more Aether.
I think that was one of the big turnarounds. I mean, and this
Mm-hmm.
is something that you absolutely should expect to see from a player who's never played in any real professional match before. Is like
The
there's
highs and
some growing
lows.
pains, there's some lessons to learn, but the thing that is promising about him is that he learned these lessons at halftime and turned it around. He stopped like hard engaging,
Mm-hmm.
um, more so focused on distractions and making space, um, allowing kind of, hey, look at me. Okay, now the tracer's behind you. Now the soldier's behind you. Now you're hacked. Now you're screwed. Like
Yep.
instead of like, hey, I'm gonna do all this damage. I'm gonna go for the kills. Like no, he just needed to kind of draw the attention and kind of push the space a little bit.
Yep.
Um, Same with OG as well. Like they did some weird stuff. Like OG on the Mercy and Kevster on the Pharah. Both of those didn't work out. OG got picked a lot. There's just a lot of really weird things here and there. Um, Meanwhile, on the opposite side, you had Acadia just picking supports left and right. He was one of the big reasons that OG was dead half the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Krakenlaken getting good like picks after long fights. He's the one who's able to usually turn the tide with a pick or two. Kind of start the snowball, win the fight. Um, so I think that like there definitely was. I wish I could. You know, if I had time, I'd rewatch and kind of get a better idea of like what else changed other than Salieri was a little bit less hard on the engages and a little bit more just like pokey, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely an interesting turnaround to see.
It had me scared, that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
So now going into the other side of the reverse sweep, we've got the second wind versus Team Envy, where it it looked like it was gonna be Team Envy easy, and then second wind just turned it on after the half again, and we're able to secure the reverse sweep. So Kyle, why don't you start us off here? Why don't we start off since we've been talking about Envy? Let's go into Envy's side of this and then move over to second wind here.
yeah. So I already kind of mentioned the change in playstyle from Salieri, and
Mm-hmm.
like we definitely saw that kind of carry over, which was good to see. A Fox had a bit more of a showing in this match as well. Really good trances. Right before EMP, I think this was on University in Oasis. I think there was something like that where like the EMP was right about to come out,
Yep.
and he trances right before it, catches it, perfect timing. Got some big solo kills on his own as well. I think on the Zen. Um, Kevster as well seems to be a little bit more present here, playing a lot more Tracer than I think we saw in the previous match. It could just be map specific, but it definitely did feel like it had a pretty noticeable effect.
Yeah. Especially on Hanamura. Just he was playing out of his mind the whole map. But there's a moment in overtime. Second wind is trying to stall to get people back onto the point. And Kaluj, not Kaluj, he goes by Hagan now.
Again,
Um gets well Kevster demechs him, and as he's flying into the air and gets demeched. Baby Diva shoots out, and Kevster just flick shots a pulse bomb up into the sky and catches Hagan's Baby Diva midair and just ends the stall right there. It was a nasty Kobe. Like it was great.
And looking over at second win on the opposite side, I think in particular, um, Dalton was probably the linchpin player for this match. I think they played Busan first, and then was this the one that went to like a seventh map where they had the draw?
Yeah,
I
because it
think.
went MV1-2, then
Then like a draw,
second
then
win
second win.
drew. What did they draw?
Hanamura, I think,
Hanamura. Yeah.
or Numbani, Drew Numbani.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it went Busan, Hanamura, Numbani. Busan and Hanamura were Envy, and then Numbani was the tie, and then Watch Point, Gibraltar, Ilios, Oasis back the other way. Sixth map, not seventh. Not quite the toilet bowl era
Yeah.
we saw, but I think this was actually kind of the opposite. Like this was a bit of a clinic by Kevster having great tracer play, Onigod as well playing so many
Yep.
different plays so well. His soldier is filthy, man. This guy is so good on so many picks. If any team needs a hit scan player for Overwatch League, they really need to call this dude up. But then Dalton on the other side, he was one who kind of clutched out Busan. He was also the one that clutched out Ilios Oasis at the end as well.
Oh yeah.
He didn't quite clutch out Busan, but he had a really good, No, it was
Watch
oh,
point.
that's what else. Yeah, it was. I'm trying to remember what really happened. So it was Busan. He was kind of non-existent. Then Hanamura, he kind of stepped it up a lot. Brought it a little bit closer. Then Umbani, he was able to help tie it up, and then turn the tide on Watch Point, Ilios, and Oasis. Really, really good from him.
So many of Dalton's pulse bombs, especially after on Watch Point Gibraltar, both teams got all the way to the third point, and in overtime they both had, it was like, I think it was like a minute to a minute 50,
Mm.
with Envy having the minute 50. His pulse bombs shut down Envy before they could get to the first point on their second attack. It was like 2 or 3 times, just his pulse bombs alone, he was getting both supports, a support and a DPS, and sometimes he would just get the one support, which would open up the back line to the rest of second wind. Like, Dalton was just harassing Envy from the back line on Tracer. God, I love watching Dalton. Like,
Yeah,
it's great to see him back.
It takes me back to the Dalton Nero days, dude.
Yes.
Him on Tracer when he I think part of the problem was then he got stuck on frickin' Reaper, and that's you can't look good on Reaper. But dude, as soon as he can play Tracer, he just destroys. And then another player that we saw that I didn't remember ever seeing is Genji. I remember kind of as
I
a
didn't either.
Doomfist.
Yeah.
Based not a one trick, but a primary Doomfist player. Um, his Genji is kind of good. Like value blades, no nano needed.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was one really, really good one on Numbani. But speaking of Numbani, bro, what was the Doomfist play he did? He was trying to
Oh my
stagger a
god.
baby diva and
Dude,
punched himself off of the map.
it was,
Like, bro.
and they were being so dominant in that moment. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, this is like, second win is just
Oh,
gonna
that
crush
was
this.
such an unforced error.
And it
Just
was
so dumb.
just so bad. Everybody, like, the desk was like, reset? Like, what's going on right now?
What are you? I mean, yes, you'll be back soon, but bro, so will
But
the diva
why?
now. Like,
Yeah.
what? Um, and then as well, another player that we knew he's been pretty good. He kind of went a little bit dormant for a little while, and then kind of came back.
Mm-hmm.
Frickin' Rolf, man, guy was sleeping everybody, ulting all the time. anyone who was like a soldier who was ulting, you had like a Winston who was ulting, anything like that, just like boom, slept every time.
And then we even saw him hop over to uh the Lucio for a minute on Ilios, which was super weird for me to see. Like I was like, I didn't know that Rolf really played Lucio. But it was in overtime. It was on Lighthouse. He essentially won them Lighthouse because they were again going for Team Envy was going for a stagger. Rolf gets a boop onto Finzi. Literally, Finzi uses his boosters to get into place and then is repositioning, and Rolf notices it, boops him literally a split second after the boosters end, right off the side of the map. Was the last person that was able to really touch. I think Kevster came in for like a quick second on Tracer, but got taken out because all of second wind was on the point. Ended it really quick, but just the the awareness to catch Finzi in the right spot, knowing that there is no boosters to save him, and to save the boop to throw him off the side. Um, Rolf was just playing out of his mind.
Definitely.
So we're going to kind of go over the EU contenders bracket here. But real quick, thanks to Shrug in the chat, he does mention, which I never really thought about this. We kind of mentioned, coronavirus plague ruining everything earlier, but we didn't really think about the fact that essentially EU contenders players are unsignable talent at this point
Yep.
because there's
Do you? I
no
mean, like,
there's no way they could get into the US for the
yep.
foreseeable future.
So we know, yeah, like we know for sure that Envy has officially sent all of their players back home. We heard about OG going back home. We saw some about Salieri going back home. Um, so we knew that, like, I think all of the EU players had never even been to Dallas yet. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
still all back at in EU, and so you have a huge portion of this roster, all but two players basically. I think
Yep.
Taimu's still in Finland. I don't know if he's gonna play though. Kevster, Oni got Finzi, Afox. Four of your six players are just stuck in EU at the moment, playing on 100+ ping, and they're still doing pretty well. So that's
Yep.
pretty good to hear. Meanwhile, all of second wind are at least in this, half of the planet. So, um, that's part of it. I'm not going to say that that's the reason that they won, but like, still, like that is a huge, be able to do that well despite everything is saying something.
Yep. So let's jump into this contenders bracket here. I'll take the first one simply because I want to say it. Uh, the Nicky Ricky Esports beat out Vash Nihil 3-1. I'm going with it. That is now their name. They should just rebrand and thank me, and
Just
make
change
the
their
just
spelling.
and make the skull just a fat bald headed dude. Um,
Oh, I'm down.
Eternal Academy continuing to just look phenomenal. Beating out the Angry Titans 3-1. Sheer Cold beating Clockwork Vendetta 3-1. And then Shoes Money Crew EU beating out Not in Contenders 3-1.
Well, their name's a lie. Um, British Hurricane coming in here from their high seed position, smashing Ricky Tiki Tavi Esports 3-0. You've got
Love it.
Young and Beautiful coming in from their high seed, getting kind of rolled by Eternal Academy 3-0. This is the Eternal Academy that's like half of last year's Talent Esports. So you have Muse, CQB, and
Yep.
Patafan, as well as Tasuna, Urki, and Hafikul. Like that's a filthy roster, dude. Um, Makes sense why Young and Beautiful kind of got dismantled. HSL coming in from their high seeding as well gets 3-2'd by Sheer Cold, a roster of players I have never heard any of before at all. Um, and then Samsung Morning Stars again coming up. Like, dude, this was not a good day for high seed players.
Mm-hmm.
Samsung Morning Stars got 3-1 by Shoes Money Crew EU. So pretty good so far.
So now we talk about the beginning of the weirdness. So British Hurricane take it all the way Map 5, 3-2 over the Eternal Academy. Okay, pretty standard. It's normal. Shoes Money Crew EU beat Sheer Cold 3-1. Now, there's a little bit of an asterisk there. Shoes Money Crew did not beat Sheer Cold. Sheer Cold had to forfeit.
Yeah.
Sheer Cold forfeited because of some connection issues. They weren't able to get back on, weren't able to finish out the rest of the series. So Shoes Money Crew gets the win there. I'm just going to go right into the finals because we have a little bit of the same nonsense happening in the finals. So the British Hurricane beat Shoes Money Crew 3-2 in a reverse sweep because I believe it was one of the tanks.
Someone on British Hurricane,
Let me
either
pull up the
Mulfig or
Hurricane.
Haiti.
I want to say it was Mulfig.
Hmm.
Where are we at? No, Danid. He tweeted out, 2230 Contenders final, 2231 power outage, 2235 power still not up. Rushes to his mom's house 15 minutes away, packing everything up with his brother, and they rush to his mom's house. 2255 set up, and Hunter is playing to stall the map. What a roller coaster.
Holy crap.
That is literally how the British Hurricanes finals for Contenders Week 1 started. But they're able to turn it around after Shoes Money Crew obviously win the first 2 maps because they were playing 6v5. And then the British Hurricane just stomped their way through to the end and get the 3-2. Pretty phenomenal. And it's a crazy semifinals and finals if you think about it. Like, Shoes Money Crew wins by a disconnect in the semis, almost wins the grand finals by a disconnect. Who does Shoes Money Crew know with the power?
Crew work at Comcast or whatever the EU equivalent of Comcast is? Are they just unplugging people or cutting power? Dude?
they're just killing power in parts of in EU to win Contenders. That's what they're doing here.
But then what's funny is which was it Ilios that they forfeited or Kings Row? Because what happened was, look at the score line. It's win versus forfeit. So Ilios was just outright forfeited. 3-0 on Kings Row. So maybe that's where their coach played in. Then, as soon as Danid comes back, 2-0 Havana, 2-0 Horizon Lunar Colony, 2-0 Nepal.
Oh yeah, dude. It was like a stomp the rest of the way through.
Dismantle them after the fact. So that's just kind of funny to see that, like, it's kind of dicey. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're back. We're on. You're done. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely nuts. But congratulations, Hurricane, on winning week 1 in kind of shocking fashion.
Beautiful storyline behind it. Yeah. Now moving on to KR Contenders. We're gonna blaze through this real quick because it's not super duper important, and we're also like already at like 40 minutes here. So looking for sponsor falls to Batlica 3-0. Oz Gaming takes out Bravos Gaming 3-0. Lucky Future takes out Bounce Flame 3-0. Team BM takes out Top Honor 3-1. Meta Athena, T1, WGS Phoenix all come in top, win all of their matches against those previously listed teams. And so those 4 move into their brackets. Semifinal, Meta Athena takes out T1 in a 3-2, and then Team BM takes out WGS Phoenix. Actually, I misspoke. GC Busan Wave lost to Team BM. So you had one team make it through to the bottom, or from the bottom. So Team BM and Meta Athena met in the grand finals, where Team BM actually beats out Meta Athena 3-1. So Team BM is the roster that consisted of BM Hawk and BM Eagle or something like that. Pelican.
No, I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
Some other bird.
Yeah. I should know.
We brought it up in the news last week. I know that.
I did. Hawk. Raven and Hawk.
Raven and
Hawk. So yeah, that's what's happening. And then I guess we'll just very easily lead into our Contenders Week 1 preview. And so these matches are going to be played. Clicky, hurrying up.
Should be today.
Tomorrow. Tonight, yesterday. Oh, it happened. They happened. They're happening now, or they just happened uh, last night. So we have
Stupid
4
time
matches that
zones.
happened last night. Oh, dude, this is
Okay.
wild. Um,
You want me to run through these really quick? I got the
do
score
you
lines
have
up.
do you have the results up? Yeah,
Yep.
pull them up. Go ahead.
So we've got WGS Phoenix going up against Batalica, and WGS Phoenix take that 3-1. Team BM fall to Lucky Future 3-0. T1 beat out GC Busan Wave 3-0, and Meta Athena, after winning trials, fall to Oz Gaming. That's going to set us up in a quarterfinals where we get Runaway versus WGS Phoenix, Element Mystic versus Lucky Future. That's going to be a banger. O2 Blast versus T1, and then Gen G Esports versus Oz Gaming, and those are going to be happening in about 6 hours. So too late for me.
Yeah, and then a couple things to note. Again, Lucky Future is the Overwatch League retirement home,
Yes.
and then Gen G still has like I guess 4 out of the 6 or yeah, 4 out of the 6 players from last year. Stalker, Wakid, Oberon, Wu Yal, Bliss, and then they got a player named Someone who I don't know if you saw this on Twitter about how his name came up. He's like, I thought my name meant everyone, but it didn't. And I wanted to switch it, but then it cost $10 and I didn't want to pay that. And so now I'm just someone. I'm like, that is the greatest name story I've ever heard in my life.
No, that's
I'm
the first I
so
heard that. That's great.
it's so just like such like the gamer mentality. It's like I did this name, it didn't mean what I wanted it to, and I could have switched
$10
it,
too
but
expensive.
$10 is that buys a decent meal, so I didn't. And I just now have the name I had, so I'm now someone. Like, all right, cool, man. So that's gonna be pretty wild. And then we've got Trials, man.
Yep. Let's do this. So we're gonna kind of do this the same way we did last week. We'll read off the match and we'll give who is winning that match. All right. So first one up, we got Montreal Rebellion versus Ascent. I've got this going to Montreal Rebellion. How about you, Kyle?
Same thing. Literally, we have the exact same predictions the entire way down.
All right, that's gonna make things easy.
Just
So
yeah, we are
we've
the
got
like-minded.
the this set of trials. The way it plays out, it wasn't very difficult to pick, at least in my mind, until we get the matches later on tonight, and we're just proven absolutely wrong.
Exactly.
Triumph versus Simplicity. We both have Triumph taking this one, which then sets up Third Impact versus Phase 2. We both have Third Impact, and then Noble versus Uprising Academy. Sorry, Uprising Academy, you are staying in Trials. Noble is taking this. Easy clap. That's going to set up Sky Foxes versus Montreal. We both have Sky Foxes taking this. That's going to give us Revival versus Triumph. Third time's a charm. I mean, no, I lied, because Revival is going to take this again. Revival beating out Triumph for the third time in a row. Karasuno versus Third Impact. We're giving this to Third Impact. And then Atlanta Academy versus Noble. I'm gonna bet on the boys. Got to give it to Atlanta Academy. And then that is going to give us a Revival versus Sky Foxes. Yes. Revival versus Sky Foxes. We both have this going to Revival. And then it's going to be Third Impact versus Atlanta Academy, with Third Impact taking it. And then in the finals, Revival versus Third Impact. We both have Third Impact taking the matchup. So we will get those that bracket posted here after the show is done.
One of the things we should note that I completely forgot to mention and put in the news is there was some change to the Montreal Rebellion roster.
Oh,
We
I did forget
heard
about that.
that Chain and Tanner both officially let go.
Now, I want
Not
to
even called up, no nothing. We saw Tanner posted an LFT, so didn't
double
know
check
about
this.
that.
Okay. Montreal Rebellion, 20 hours ago. Thank you, Chain and Tanner OW, for your time fighting for the Rebellion. We wish you nothing but the best in the future. To our fans, we have more announcements to come soon. Also, 20 hours ago. Correction, thank you to Tanner OW for your time with the Rebellion.
I didn't know about that.
Yep. So,
Is
it's
Chain still on the team?
but if you go to chain. His bio says main tank for at question mark. So I don't know what's going on at this point.
We'll see. We'll see if we get a stream up
Yeah,
of someone playing in the trials match.
yeah. So the Rebellion
Hard to tell,
roster
man.
is a little weird right now. Don't know what's
No,
going on there.
we'll see. And the last real thing we've got to chat about is EU Trials Week 2. So I'm kind of getting the feel right now for like how the format is going,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of like it
Yeah,
because like you don't have to slug through a bunch of crap matches. We're covering one bottom tier match in each region or in each tier basically. We're covering one or what is this? Not even just first round
yeah. One round of
pick
12.
in yeah, and it's like we only needed to watch um Triumph versus Revival. Like we didn't need to also watch Maryville,
And
Montreal, Square One, Third Impact, Karasuno Noble. Like we don't need to watch
that
all
match
of
was
those.
expected to be a good match. So it wasn't even like
Yes.
it was going to be a bad match on the lineup there. So
Exactly. And then like we get the best two teams in the region playing against each other every other week. Whereas previously you got that once
once,
2 months,
yeah,
maybe, right? And like the other time you had like the equivalent of with Fusion University play against bye week.
yeah,
I remember those, dude. Oh man. So I am liking this format. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's just they change it every so much. There's so much change. Like, yes, but it's good change in this point.
yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty happy. So
It would be even better if we could watch trials,
yes.
even if it was the
Part of me
same
is
format.
glad we don't have to because there's just doubles the amount of matches to watch and we can kind of just
It,
coach
coming
from afar, not observe from afar, but like
coming to watching trials, I would basically only want to watch the
the
finals.
finals.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably fair. Or like certain maps, like I would have loved to be able to just see who the heck is on Montreal, like because if they don't
yeah.
make it to contenders, I don't know who filled that spot. So I don't know. But covering EU Week 2 trials, we've got Angry Titans versus Ex Oblivion, non-contenders versus Barcelona Manticores, I think this is.
Yep.
Um, Vox Nihili versus Dreadlords, and Clockwork Vendetta versus Olympians. Hopefully, Clockwork Vendetta do a little bit better this time. I would like to maybe see Asking play a game and not have to uninstall the game tomorrow. Um, Coming in as well from the higher seed place into the quarterfinals is HSL facing off against the winner of Angry Titans X Oblivion. Young and Beautiful facing off against the winner of non-contenders Barcelona. Nariki Esports taking against Vox Nihili and Dreadlords, and then Samsung Morningstar is facing off against the winner of Clockwork Vendetta Olympians. So we'll see how those go. Um, Not paying too much attention to EU lately. There's some interesting players on some interesting teams, but like from a path to pro perspective, EU has not only lost a lot of its great players to NA at this point,
Yep.
but also now that things are the way that they are, um, unfortunately, it's kind of just irrelevant now. Like at least for this season, for
Hmm.
until the season is over, there is essentially no hope for any of these teams making it because both of the EU Overwatch League teams, are playing in Jersey.
Yep.
They're just on the East Coast at this point, which is, dude, that was the smartest play they ever could have
Yes.
made. Obviously they couldn't have predicted
And
this being an issue, but just knowing that, like, okay, well, I'm not going to scrim in a region with only one other Overwatch League team, and then like probably the third or fourth best contenders region teams as well.
and as
Like,
crappy as the whole coronavirus thing is, like Paris, let's talk about how Paris got so lucky because we were what, like 2 weeks out from their first homestand.
mm-hmm,
Like they were literally getting ready to start traveling back to Paris, and if this would have
mm-hmm.
hit 2 weeks later,
They
they
would
would
have been
have been
stuck.
the only team in EU. Like
Yep.
it's nuts. Like
Yeah.
But I think that's a show.
That wraps it up for us.
We even with the starting late due to Streamlabs deciding that they wanted to be jerks and change all of my settings and tell me I wasn't allowed to stream, but I fixed it and we streamed the show and we covered everything. Where can they find you on the internet, Kyle?
You can find me occasionally with some pretty fire tweets on Twitter at Kyle the Winner.
Yeah, you crushed it the other day.
Oh, dude, I was proud of that one. That was one I'm like, I just like, yeah, just like, I felt it. I'm like, bro, I feel like this is a fire tweet. Like, I think the world needs to hear this. And sure enough, like, oh, some people liked it. I'm like, oh yeah, dude. All right. I very, very seldom do I have moments of brilliance. Very seldom. But when I do, I really gotta milk it. I'm like, should I just post this tweet other places? Should I really farm that clout? Should I get my hoe and my trousers out and start farming that clout out? No, we're not. We're just gonna leave it go. Yeah, basically Kyle the Winner on Twitter. Hit me up in the Discord. I guess hit me up if anyone wants to play Call of Duty or something, dude. Because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take the next 4 days off on sick time because I got 60 hours of sick time. I don't want to risk getting sick, getting anyone sick. So, bro, I'm gaming this week.
Just kick it. Like I'm so close to that point where I've got vacation time and we've already, because of the coronavirus, it's already been approved that like if you want to take it, just take it. But I live in Ohio, so the weather's crappy, and I don't know if I want to burn on my vacation during crappy weather.
Yeah.
But you can find me on the internet over at Thorn Rain. I'm sorry, on Twitter, not on the internet. It happens to be on the internet. I do my streaming right here on the Black Watch Report Twitch channel. But if you're an audio listener, swing by that Twitch channel, create a free account, hit that follow button. We'll give you a shout out. And if you want to be like one of the cool guys, Jew Druid or Shrug Off, who happen to subscribe tonight and you got an Amazon Prime, that means you got a Twitch Prime. We are affiliates. You can hit subscribe and help the show out. You want to help out completely free? Leave us a review. We love reading reviews, man. We haven't had one in a very, very long time. Would love to hear what you guys think of the show. With the way the new format is going, with the preview week and the recap week because of the new format. Let us know what you guys think. But you can find the show on Twitter at Blackwatch Report. No O in that report. Email the show, blackwatchreport@gmail.com, and follow the show right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/blackwatchreport. We record live Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, and our intro music is an original piece by our own Mr. Kyle Wynn. This has been a High Noon production. You can find all of our shows over at highnoonpodcast.com and come and chat with all of the hosts from all of our shows over on the Discord that Kyle was just talking about. And while I'm thinking about it, got to give a special shout out to Papa A. Smith. Thank you for your time helping with the fantasy foul play show, and good luck in your future endeavors, and take care of that awesome baby, sir. But with that, Blackwatch out.